Hey folks, welcome back to another video of the Flutter development course brought to you by Newton School. My name is Harsh Kumar Khatri and I am working as a Flutter developer at Alihoop, Sweden, and I have worked as an intern at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and I have also worked as a Flutter developer intern at a firm named AppScript. I am also an educator and instructor on Udemy and at Unix, where my Flutter development courses have more than 40,000 plus enrollments already, so you can check them out as well. And now talking about what Newton School is. So Newton School basically is a platform that helps you to learn and develop the skills that you need for your best tech career. There are courses specifically designed for freshers, working professionals, and for women with no prior experience in tech. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you become a full stack developer. And they are also having a network of 300 plus great companies who hire directly from Newton School. So they also ensure that you are placed with one of the best companies in the country. They are also having a pay after placement program where you don't have to pay anything to Newton School until and unless you are placed with the minimum CTC of 5 lakh rupees per annum. And they are also having another amazing initiative known as Launchpad, where you don't have to pay anything to them and you will be getting some of the courses for free of the cost, and you can learn from those courses and also get a certificate of completion. And this is one of the cool thing which I like about them. So you will also be getting a certificate of completion to showcase your progress. So make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. So in this video we are going to work on fixing the errors which we were getting in the previous video. So you must have seen in the previous video that we were getting some of the errors while we were trying to return some of the things in the particular functionality of the app. So we'll be working on those errors and we'll be fixing them. Apart from that, we'll be completing the home screen which we are working on from the past two videos. So I'll be showing you the final implementation for the same, and we'll be working on some of the final widgets which are most probably going to be the floating action widgets. So we are going to work on the same. So make sure to check out the video until the end, and yeah, let's jump directly to the code. So as I am getting an error over here for using the ternary operator, so what I can do is I can delete this from here and add an if else condition over here. So if this is the particular case, then we need to use this. I don't think if else would be used over here as well. Let me create a var temp data and adding the if condition outside this, and adding the else condition over here as well. The temp data would be equal to this, so temp data, else the temp data should be equal to this. And herein we can pass the temp data. Now I guess it is fine. So now we have to return the string, but as we are checking the conditions over here, so we can do one thing, that herein if we are getting the data related to this equals to u, like we are getting the first character equals to u, then we can directly return the temp data over here. So return temp data over here. Else what we can do over here is, let me add these as well, because it won't be considering two options or two functions to be executed. And for the else as well, we'll be using these. So for the else, what we can do over here is that we'll be first getting the substring of 6. We'll be then passing the temp data inside this date, and later on we'll be returning a string from here. So return, and this will be used for returning the string in a form of a temp data. So dollar, here the temp data would be coming, and after that this temp data, what I can add is on. So temp data on, and after that we can add various different times related to the data which we are going to pass. So I'll be adding that quickly. So adding a dollar sign, date, date is in small, so date dot day dash dollar date dot month dash dollar date dot year at dollar date dot r dash and dollar again date dot minute dash dollar date dot seconds. And rather than adding dashes over here, replacing it with this and adding a semicolon at last. And you can see over here that this function has stopped giving us the error as well. So this will be pretty much it for this. And one more thing which we need to add over here is this floating action button, or we can add a simple button which will be used for like updating the data inside the database whenever we are clicking on that button. So I'll be adding it inside the scaffold only. So once this column is ending, after this I'll be adding a floating action button, and this takes a floating action button, and inside this we can pass an on pressed. I'll be adding the things to it later on, but let me first add the child and the tooltip. So child will be of a type text, which will the child will be of a type icon, which will be used for icons dot text field. Just for displaying the user with an icon we are using it. You can use the icons according to your preference over here, and for the tooltip as well. The tooltip would be show me the data after adding. So this was for the UI part of this floating action button. Now let's add the functionality inside this. So we'll be first checking if the controller dot text dot length is greater than 0, which means that the controller which we have added for getting the data from the user, if the length of that is greater than 0, which means that there is some data available. So we'll be inserting that inside the my table which we have created. So int I will be having the data value of the ID which has been added, and we'll be having an await which will be taking a database helper dot instance dot insert, which takes a table name, so my table, and the row which needs to be inserted. So we'll be adding that as well, but before that let me make it as async like the on pressed over here, and now passing the data in the form of a JSON. So database helper dot column name would be equal to the text which we want to add, so controller dot text, and we need to add the time as well. So database helper dot column name 2 would be equal to a string added dollar, and herein we can pass the datetime dot now, datetime dot now, and this will be added to the database accordingly. And later on we also need to add the data inside, or we need to update the data inside our field. So we'll be checking if in this condition the value of the controller, the value of the text which is present inside the controller 2 should be greater than the length of that should be greater than 0. So we'll be checking if controller 2 dot text dot length is greater than 0. If this is the case, then we'll be updating the data. So let me copy this from here, pasting it over here, replacing it to update ID, update, and the update does not need some table name. And herein for the column name first, database helper dot column name, I'll be passing the controller 2 dot text. For the column name 2, I'll be passing updated in place of the added text which we have added, and I need to pass the column ID as well. So database helper dot column ID would be equal to update ID, which we have created. So this will be updating the data accordingly, and we'll later be querying the rows once the data has been updated or the data has been added to the particular database, to the particular table with the name of my table, and we'll be querying that data and we'll be storing that data inside the query rows. So let me query that as well. So set state, we'll be updating the data dynamically only. So the value of underscore query rows would be equal to await database helper dot instance dot query all. The table name would be my table, and this await is providing us with an error. So let me delete this from here, creating a new list of map having string and dynamic as the data types, and the name of it would be query rows only. It will be equal to this, and later on we can assign the value of it to query rows over here. And after this particular things have been completed, as in the data has been added to the database. One more thing, I have made a mistake. Let me cut this out, paste it over here. And yeah, now once if the data has been added, new data has been added to the database, or the new data has been updated inside the particular to do item. So once if those things have taken place, then we need to clear the data from the text fields which we are having. So for that we will be running the clear text input function, which is a custom function which we need to create. So let's create that as well. So clear text input function, and herein we'll be clearing the data. So controller dot clear, and similarly controller2 dot clear, and this will be clearing the database, clearing the data from our database, as we have clicked on the we have added the data to the database or to the appropriate tables, or we have updated the data from the database into our appropriate tables. So this was pretty much it for our first screen, which is the main.dart file or the home page, and this will be used for displaying the data to the user once we have added the particular to do item inside our to do list, or once we have updated the data from the previous available data and have added a new data in place of that, and we have replaced the strings and stuff like that. So this was pretty much it for this. In the next part I'll be showing you how you can add or how you can display the completed items to the user from the database which we are having. So make sure to check that out. Hope you got to learn something new from this video. If you did, then make sure to drop a like, comment down below what you would like to see in the upcoming series of the video, and share this video with the people in your community who want to learn Flutter. Subscribe to the channel to get all the latest updates related to the Flutter development course videos which are being posted on every alternate day. And make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. They are doing amazing work, so make sure to give them a check as well. And yeah, this was pretty much it for this video. I'll be seeing you in the next one.